Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today what we have for you is some umamusume format gameplay. On the left you will see me playing an Uma deck and Jose on the right playing his Forestcraft deck that he's kind of riding by, or how do I say that, I guess just kind of skating by until set 3 comes out, when Forest will really take off, according to him at least. I've done no real research into it personally, but as you can see, I went second. I'm not sure who won the die roll actually, and Jose has 2 bell ringers out, both unengaged. He then follows up with an Elf Child May on turn 3, and he plays Marvelous Sunday, which means he can bounce the Elf Child May back to hand, heal 2, and then because that was the Elf Child May got bounced back to hand, that does the second damage needed to knock out my special week. So then he engages a bell ringer and passes, and then I will go up to 3 play points. Again, I went second, so I still have the Evo points, and it looks like I end up playing Seeking the Pearl and giving it playing my last play point and giving it a care. Oh no, I guess you use an Evo point. Okay, so I must have a turn 1 play, I guess. I attack into the bell ringer here and give him a card, and then I use the Lamplet to destroy the Marvelous Sunday. Because I have a carrot or a follower that's riding, Lamplet will do 3 damage instead of just 2. So that being said, I mean, I learned a lot, and I hope you guys too, playing these matchups against Forest. You know, I think that how I described it to my friends is, in trying to learn this Uma deck, I kind of think I'm learning more about what the deck does, and I make my plays based on what can my deck do, and not enough of what is my opponent going to do. So I think that you'll probably, I mean, I haven't rewatched this actually, but I'm sure that we'll see some kind of indication of that here in this video. So Jose's thinking pretty hard here. He does play the Reindeer, and that card will put a... What is that spell called again? I keep forgetting, but it's a 2 cost, deals 3 damage to an enemy, whether it's a follower or leader, and draw a card. So that card's very solid, especially because it has Rush whenever you play it. So it's almost like a follower evolved, just without taking up Evo space. So very nice. And you see that when Seeking the Pearl died, it milled another Seeking the Pearl in a Mayano Top Gun. Testing out Mayano Top Gun. It's no longer in the list now, but it was a pretty interesting tech for a little bit there. And I think looking like, okay, yeah, I would say Daiwa Scarlet is probably one of the best turn 4 plays you can roll with. There's no pressure on the board at this time, so I would imagine we're probably going to go for something like something that digs deeper in the deck. I really enjoy playing Daiwa. Yeah, there we go. Either Trial Initiation or Flowers for You. I don't know if I end up sticking with this or not, but that'll probably be one of the most common plays that I end up making, is just using Daiwa to go a free card deeper into the deck or so. So that way we're milling a little bit more. We're just getting in there a little bit more. Like I said, I was testing out the Mayano Top Gun, so having 5 Uma cards in the grave usually matters a lot. Okay, so we play Trial Initiation, we add the Dictus to our hand. We have no play points left, so we're going to end up passing there. So Jose still has that lone bell ringer. Only one of them has died so far. No damage coming out just yet, but that's okay. So he's going to end up using his spell, and I think he's just going to deal 3 damage to me. He's thinking here. You have to carefully make your plays. Forest is, in my opinion, Forest is probably one of the least rewarding decks or I guess least forgiving is what I mean to say. The least forgiving decks if you make a misstep. Yeah, your whole play can kind of crumble, because with the combo mechanic, every step matters, really. So he's got to think really carefully before he accidentally just messes up his whole combo and then lets me take over. Because he has to make a choice here. Can he out the Daiwa? Will he out the Daiwa? He might just leave it alone. So it looks like he's thinking here. Okay, so he finally plays the Elf Child May, pings Daiwa for 1, then hits it for the last... No, he actually burns face. There we go. and he's going to use a Roach, so that will be combo 3, meaning Roach will go to 3/1, and then he's going to use a Roach's Evolve effect to destroy or deal 3 damage to the Daiwa. So he outs it. Board's still pretty wide. Kind of a bunch of weenies, but I think at this point I'm like begging, I'm pleading to get like an Agnes here so we can just kind of wipe the board. Would be excellent, but don't have it, I don't think, but we'll see. It's crazy. This isn't really this gameplay isn't even from very long ago, and I remember almost nothing about it actually. We played a lot of games. We're really testing this UMA format because I try to bring quality content to the channel. You know, I mean the best versions of each deck as we can. And I know that I don't think I've ever posted Forest on the channel before. I don't think, which is kind of funny because in the online Shadowverse game, Forest was like my least favorite deck. Don't hate me. And so I just never played it in this game either, but it's one of Jose's favorite decks, which is funny. Okay, so I play a Daiwa Scarlet here. We have 1 play point available, which means that we really have like 2 if we're using it for spells. So I think at this point, I mean, because we went with Daiwa, I'm assuming that what we're going to end up doing is just searching some kind of removal for the Roach. And we add Make Some Noise. I'm assuming we're doing that just to get it in rotation, you know, just to get it in the cemetery to make it an option. Yeah, so like we use our last play point essentially for that, and then we're going to pop the Roach. Jose a little confused on the play points and how we afforded that for a second. It's just, you know, new cards. kind of just, we're all just kind of figuring it out here as we go. So Elfchild May and Bellringer still staying on the board. Yeah, not a lot of momentum shift here. I mean, I think, I don't know if it's the hand we have or whatnot, but I'm excited for you guys to see how I've made the deck evolve a little bit since even just since this game. Okay, so Jose plays Silent Suzuka, which is one of his favorite cards in the deck, which top decks my Daiwa. So that just tells you he's not worried about me getting free cards off of Daiwa, you know. Which is great, I mean, for him. So he hits me for 6 and passes. Still has that Bellringer that's, you know, eventually just going to come up. Unfortunately, Silent Suzuka doesn't have a lot of health health to it. So it's oh yeah, there we go. I'm nice. So I end up attacking into the Bellringer and popping the Silent Suzuka, dealing 3 damage to Jose. So he's back down to normal people health of 19, and I'm all the way down to 11. So I'm not feeling good, especially because I know this guy plays a Rico himself. So he's going to, yeah, there you go. He crashes the Elfchild May, then plays his Rico, because Rico, keep in mind, does not get those effects unless it's the only follower on your board. So he takes out my Rico with his, plays his Amulet, Harvest Festival, and then passes to me. So I'm at 7. I'm really low, and Jose's taking hardly any damage. So this is not looking good. I mean, his deck's doing what it you know, needs to do. I mean, just kind of take the lead and run with it. So I mean, there's a lot of plays you can do with Uma. I feel like there's so many lines with this deck, you know, and I don't think it's super forgiving either. If you make mistakes. So I definitely have noticed myself taking longer with this deck than I have with most other decks. So I played the Daiwa that it got top decked by the Silent Suzuka. And at this point, I mean, we got to kill the Rico. I mean, there's nothing, you can't just leave that thing up. If you leave that thing up, you're taking 9 damage minimum next turn, you know? So yeah, I think at this point, okay, so we do search the execution of the deck, although it's not as good as execution, doesn't pop amulets. But with Daiwa Scarlet, that's only going to cost us 3. But we're gonna. I love this card. I love Flowers for You because it's like a free draw with Daiwa Scarlet, and we have enough cards in our cemetery at this point for it to only cost 2, and then we're gonna give Daiwa Storm plus 1/1 in Storm, turning it into a 5/5 Storm and hitting Jose down to 14 health. So, yeah, I mean, somewhat of a comeback factor here, but not really. I mean, 8 is really, really uncomfortable for to play against this version of Forest for sure. I mean, this was my first time playing against it, or I think by this time this was probably like the second or third game playing against it, but my first night playing against it, and I learned a lot. Absolutely. Jose drops a second Rico. So yeah, I was not expecting that. So that was unfortunate. Gets me down to 5 health, and yeah, I'm kind of just having to repeat. And there he goes. He plays Ancient Elf, bounces the Rico back. So that also kind of forces me to play around Rico, which means just don't engage anything. And then drawing into, or I'm going into 8 play points here. So this kind of makes plays like Narita Bryan uncomfortable because it engages itself, which, you know, kind of plays into Rico, but I guess not because it can't be targeted. So yeah, I guess it kind of doesn't. But yeah, it's just interesting. It's a weird position to be in, and this particular deck that I'm playing does not have any heals in it. So yeah, very uncomfortable. But there's a lot of different plays though, especially because a lot of your cards don't cost very much, you know. And then when you're going second, you know, you really don't need the Evo points very much going second, but it comes up every now and again. But yeah, in my testing, I've noticed that the Evo points not nearly as important, but they'll come up mostly in these later turns, I feel. Whenever I'm gonna like maybe evolve a special week and whatnot. So okay, so there we go. I go ahead and play an Oguri. Jose did not want to play into a Rico, I'm assuming, but I guess in turn plays into an Oguri. So Oguri is going to discard 2 cards. I'm just thinking about which cards to drop, and because I have Evo points, I can hit him for 10 right here. So let's see how this goes. Yeah, okay, so we discarded a Mayano Top Gun and a Flowers for You. So that tells me that I must not have an outrunning the encroaching heat, because that's really what Mayano Top Gun is in there for, just to give it a storm. It becomes a 5/2 storm for 3 play points. So we're going to swing, hit him for 10, and then he'll do 3 damage to the board, wiping out the Ancient Elf. So I think he did make a note that he should have just engaged the Ancient Elf, but but again, playing around the Rico. But Oguri is definitely worse there. But I'm only at 5 play points, so I mean, a Silent Suzuka definitely wipes me out. He activates his Harvest Festival for 1, heals 1, goes up to 5, and he's got 8 play points. So it's like, you know, this is death territory. Silent Suzuka ends me, Silverbolt ends me. He plays another Harvest Festival, and he does it for 1 again, so that tells me he does not have Silverbolt, thank goodness. But he goes up to 7 now, I think. Oh no, 6. Yeah, 6. He does play. He plays the Rico again. I thought for a second, I thought like, no way, no shot. He plays the 3rd Rico. I forgot he bounced it with Ancient Elf. Puts me at 2, and then passes on 6. I'm pretty sure I had like a Narita Bryan here too, which means he would have been left at 1. But obviously that's not good enough. So yeah, it's just a matter of outing the Rico here. It's just like surviving, praying. But yeah, the deck did really. I mean, the deck was, you know, all that chip damage matters. You know, the Silent Suzuka comes in a lot. I realized afterwards, like, I need to respect that card more, and I need to maybe save a play point for Lamplit to out it, because it only has 2 health, and it's not like Forte. It's not unfair where its low health also has aura. It just has low health, you know. But the card is so good because top decking cards it's really underrated, or maybe it's appropriate. Maybe it's appropriately rated. I don't know. But if your opponent is already drawing not well, forcing them to continuously not draw well, that's pretty tough. So I play Addictus here, and that is not good because you don't want to see that whenever you're staring down a Rico. Shorten yourself down to only 6 play points here. So that means I am very limited on outs to this, and we end up grabbing a Lamplit, which only addresses 2 or 3 damage out of the 6. Okay, then we get into Special Week. We're going to add Sakura to our hand. I think we end up, I mean, we could evolve the Special Week, and deal. I mean, that's 3 damage, but that's just not enough damage. So, yeah, it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all. We do play Make Some Noise and the Lamplet, so a combo of both at 6 damage exactly. And then we're just going to evolve the special week here, so that way the Dictus is going to get a 1/1 boost, and I'm just going to engage it and pass. And Jose is going to draw for 10, and I think he just off the top gets the Silver Bolt. So that is unfortunate, but yeah, this Forest deck is very, very, very nice. And with all that being said, guys, I will see you in the next one.